Hey, what's up? It's your main man, Joe, with Streamline Property Management. This is a mountain property maintenance video. I'm here with Ben, my colleague, and we are out here in the woods. It's a little cold today, so we're all bundled up, and we're gonna show you around things to look at, mountain properties. Okay, so here we are. So notice we're out here on the road. You got your mailbox right here. It'd be a nice idea to make sure that sign, that number sign is real bright. Maybe a better sticker on that mailbox so your postman can really get access and clean out around there. Now, we have these power lines, okay? So anytime you have power lines or main power drops, and what I mean by a main power drop, that's gonna come off of this pole right here, and the main drops down that way to the house. So we wanna make sure that path is clear. Okay, so we'll trim around here. Now, if you have anything leaning against the power lines, you can call PG&E, send them a picture and tell them what's going on and you're worried about safety. They'll usually send somebody out in about a week. The more urgent you sound on the phone, the better it is. Okay, so now we're looking at some retaining elements, okay? So we have one retaining wall here, and we have another one that's a high grade retaining wall here. Okay, and what you can see is this metal I-beam. So it's got metal I-beam going straight into the ground down there, and then you got pressure treated, really thick pressure treated wood. Okay, so they put all this money into this driveway, this flat work it's called, this driveway, and they wouldn't have done that without a very substantial retaining element to hold everything together, right? And you can see this one is starting to fail. So this is something we're going to monitor, right? Or we're going to tell our clients. Heading into winter, this is all going to get waterlogged. So we got to watch it and maybe consider replacement of maybe these boards or maybe these posts, who knows? Now the trees, we always want to look up at the trees. Is there anything leaning towards the house? So you can see this potential to fall on the RAV4. That tree is dead. So we may want to get an arborist out here. And these are redwoods. They tend to have deeper root structures than a Douglas fir. And then you have pine. And then these are, let's see here, this is a bay tree, guys. So we'll keep on moving down. So railing systems, probably a good idea to add some sort of railing. And anytime we have a slope like this, what's gonna happen when it rains, Ben?
It's all going to go downhill, down towards the main foundation.
All right, so we want to take the water away from the house, and you can see that this is all coming up here. So you want to establish a way to take the water away from the house. So one of the things they've done is they put this little curb right here. It should be a little bit bigger in my estimate, and maybe have a drain over there. This is, we can call it a swath, but they have a lip. It's gonna catch the water, it's gonna take it to here, and then where's the water gonna go? It's gonna bump that curb, and it's gonna go straight down. So what this homeowner did, which is a really smart move, is he's added some drains, knowing that all this water is gonna come down here. So he's added another swath. Take a look at this guy. Swath, right to a drain. And then he's also tied in his gutters. So you can see the gutter right here. So he's got these really cool kind of patinaed gutters. And they're right there. And those downspouts and these gutters just kind of take that water, tie it into the swath and into that drain. Now, around this time of year, didn't we just send out our emails about the roofs, getting the gutters cleaned, the roofs cleaned?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we usually do around October, you guys, is we're gonna go, because usually in our area, the end of October is rainy season. So anytime you have a flat roof like this, it's really bright out today, so I don't know if you're catching this on film. So this is what we call a torch down product. Let's zoom in on that so you don't see any traditional shingles because the nature of the architecture, the nature of the roof. And anytime we have flat, we definitely need to clean this out. So any of these areas, like these seams right here, just really need to be clean. Pressure wash, get any moss, any cellulose, any debris off the roof prior to this winter season. Anything flat like this carport, I'm gonna back it up a little bit. I'm getting full sun, sorry guys. You can see that flat roof right there. We really need to keep that clean. And anytime you have vents right here, we want to look around these vents, all these holes in the roofs. That's all they are, is they're holes in the roofs, guys. We're going to look around there, look for any water intrusion, any warping, anything like that. So take a look at your roofs, take a look at your gutters, maybe put some gutter guards down. Okay, so what else could we do to further protect the home? Well, guess what my homeowner just did? Look how beautiful this wood is, guys. So we just had the entire exterior wood siding stained, okay? The decks are stained. This is gonna protect the redwood. The redwood out here, you have extreme hot, extreme cold, salt, wind, all really just tear apart a house. Unless you have really good paint, staining, caulking, weatherproofing, your house is gonna disintegrate rapidly. So we just wanna make sure that we're staining everything before our winter season and giving it time to dry. So we did this about a month ago before we headed into October. Okay, so this guy has a battery backup / Generac generator and your Tesla wall station. So basically, out in the mountains, we lose power. Do you work from home? If so, you want to run a generator. Now, there's different kinds. Generac is your main kind of go-to big brand. That would be more of a propane setup. Now, many of you guys are on solar. Maybe you elect to do a Tesla battery backup. I have an EcoFlow over at my place. The generator, you guys, on this house is here. So again, going back to our winterizing our house. Okay. Usually these guys will be set to switch on a certain time of the day once a week, just to kind of keep it moving. Okay. You definitely need to have somebody out here once a year to maintain these guys. You can see it runs on propane gas. So obviously make sure you have propane, check your propane levels heading into the winter time, because that's not when you want to try to get propane gas, is when everyone else is trying to get gas, right? Same with buying a generator. Don't wait till winter to buy a generator, because maybe a waiting list. It's like in these heat, trying to buy an AC unit in the middle of summer, really hard to get your units. Okay, so this gave us some good ideas. We don't really need to go inside the house other than what we talked about. Looking at any opening. So your skylights, you want to look for water, okay? So is there any water warping around that skylight? Any potential water staining around these skylights, okay? So just focusing on the ceilings, okay? And looking around, okay? So that's probably what you would do on the interior. Let's go back and walk the exterior again. Okay, so tree work, again, before wintertime, anything leaning over our house. Okay, so what's gonna fall on our house? Is it any of these branches? So, this big redwood here has a few branches. Again, we got some nice sun today, so I'm sorry about the shots. Let's go through here. But any branches that are leaning over our roof, anything that is touching our property. So living matter touching your property is no good. Think about if this grew, touched this corner, then it's just insect highway, termite highway. Okay, and we were talking about a power drop, you guys, earlier. Remember I was saying about clearing the power drop. So with this property, it hasn't been done. I just did this at my cabin out in Lake Shasta because it's a heavy fire. But if you can see through here, I don't know if you're even getting it on the film, that is the power pole, the transformer, and it's just shrouded in all that wood. So you really want to just follow this along and open that up, because if we get the wind going, you might lose power and then it could cause a fire. Okay. Any earth to wood contact. So a lot of times I see planter boxes near a house, near a foundation. You're watering here and it goes right into the foundation. So here's an example. So if you have a planter box like this and it's near your foundation, go with a drought tolerant plant so you're not constantly dumping water into your foundation. Okay, so notice there's a clean out here, guys. So those are your clean outs. I would say if you're on septic, good idea to consider pumping your tank every 4 or 5 years. It also depends on how much laundry you do, how many families, how many people are living in this house. Okay, so again, we have our gutters and the downspouts are tied in, which is great. You're not just dumping the water. So let's look and see how they did that. So we're heading into a corrugated pipe, and then that drains right down probably to the creek over here. So you just don't want to dump any excess water right into your foundation. Now notice this. These are called the eaves, you guys. The eaves of your house. So in Japan, areas where they have large tsunami, or not tsunamis, but what do they call it? Like just huge storms and, you know, all kinds of like weather. Japan, they'll have these large eaves, right? And that just keeps the water away from your house. You're gonna look at all your drains. Now look at this. Okay, see this? See that chicken wire? Okay, now this could be done a little bit cleaner. We want to keep any rodents from getting up in here. Okay, and you can see there is some signs of rodent activity. Okay, so any element like a crawl space like this, see this crawl space in here? You can get in under the house. You want to walk this and see any intrusion points. Okay, so we want to keep all the critters far away from the house. Okay, because what happens in the winter, it gets colder. You're a warm house in the middle of the woods, you're going to attract rodents. Okay, so really just sealing up any gaps. Okay, look, see this? You have Aquapex lines, those are exposed. You have Romex lines, those are exposed. Now, if an insect, maybe rodent, whatever, could chew those lines. So anytime I'm working with wood properties, I try to stay away from this Aquapex because anything can really chew through that quite easily. I'd like to go with a copper line on exposed plumbing. Now, if it's exposed to the sun, they don't want that in copper usually. You probably run that like on a PVC type line. A particular kind of PVC that can see the sun. But you don't want your copper lines exposed. A lot of times you'll wrap them in insulation. If you're in the winter, okay, so you're heading into winter in cold areas that freeze, what we often do is any extra lines, water lines, we'll drain those. So you'll turn off the water to the house if you're not going to be here for a while. You'll open all your hose bibs. So usually at the main, which would be in this case near a well, and we'll go check out the well in a sec. You're going to go ahead and shut off the main water ball valve. You're going to open all your hose bibs, and you're going to turn on all your sinks, and you're going to drain the water out of all your lines, especially the ones exposed. So for instance, if this was my property, I might have some galvanized line. You can have galvanized line exposed and run some sprinkler systems for fire safety. And then in the wintertime, you want to do what I said, do the shut off, run your lines, empty the actual water out of those pipes so you don't have any freezing. Now, again, we're going to look up at the trees, see if there's any guys. Now, this one is kind of leaning, as you can see here, guys. So this might be one for us to get an arborist out, take a look. Usually you can see the green and kind of tell if it's a healthy tree or not. You're looking for new shoots, okay? And you can tell if they are diseased, generally speaking, with just kind of common sense. And then if we see something that we're worried about, so like for instance, this oak right here, see how it's real long and straggly? It's leaning in weird directions. So we'll kind of take a look at that one, okay? So this guy right here, we may want to take a look at that because it's just so tall. And then ones that are top heavy or leaning like this over the creek, maybe we want to take those. Okay, so now let's go look around a little bit more. Again, with our septic, just a reminder, probably a good idea to put some signs on any toilets. My signs basically say on our properties that we manage, maybe in the bathroom down here, we'll have a little sign posted saying, this is a sensitive septic system, only flush XYZ materials, and have some sort of disclaimer. All right, so anytime you are near the water, making sure that you are retained and this water doesn't throw over its banks, basically so you don't flood. So if you look closely here, you'll see this retaining wall, which is basically a wall of gabion baskets. These gabion baskets are basically rocks in a basket used to kind of retain any water or earth. I've seen people use them as foundational points and areas for decks. So this whole corner around there, that's all a large wall of gabion baskets, which will make sure that our earth doesn't wash away in a heavy storm. All right, so heading over to here, guys, keeping with our winter themes, water. Okay, water is the big issue here. We have, what do we have here? This is our well station. Okay, this is where we get our water. Really important to have your well station, your well, your water tanks serviced. Reach out to us if you need a well person, okay? We have this locked right now. Our well guy has the key. He comes out here every quarter, takes a look at everything. Basically, we have a well and there's a pressure tank, power sources, which is also backed up by battery. So when you're out here with a property on a well, maybe you have a sewer or a septic pump up station, things that need power, you need to have a generator. You need to have that. Because if you lose power out here, you're not gonna have water, you're not gonna be able to really cook and do a lot of things that you need, use the bathrooms, etc. So I hope this video might have helped you getting prepped for winter. I also think just looking at these hillsides, getting anything that's going to come down off the hillside, really important. The tree work is really important. We talked about cleaning off the roof gutters, going and sealing any intrusion points for critters, rodents, mice. Now, when you're looking for rodents and mice, a lot of times they leave these little like grease trails. You can kind of see where they're getting in. These are all really good things to look at prior to winter, because once it starts raining, you're not going to have the opportunity to do that. And like I said, guys, if you are thinking you're going to have winter and you don't have a generator and it's winter's around the corner, go ahead and get your generators now. Those guys are going to be busy. Guess who else is going to be busy? Your HVAC guys, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. HVAC, those guys get slammed in the winter. If you have a heater that needs servicing, do it now before you get into your November, December. And then that way you'll be set up for success and you won't have any issues at all. Well, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching.